After 4.5 long years, it is finally over.
Watching my ex thrive, it's a beautiful thing, but it's really triggering for me.
Bear, like, why the f do I have to go through this?
When a woman leaves you at your lowest, make sure you rise up again. Success is the best revenge.
I would say I was more like a mentally unstable, controlling bitch.
I got an email today while I was at work saying that my divorce has been finalized.
I walked away from a 12-year relationship.
When her happiness is on the line, she will sacrifice her family for it. Choose yourself. Kindly subscribe to the channel, as it is our sole form of support. Thank you.
The court notified me that my final decree of divorce has been approved by the judge. I know that it sucks being alone. I come home and I'm alone. I go everywhere alone. I don't hardly talk to him anymore. I don't blame him. I filed for the divorce. So I'm sure people are wondering, well, you filed. Why are you so upset? Why are you crying? Just because you make a decision that you think is going to end up making things better doesn't mean that you have to give up the fact that you love that person or that you did it because you were trying or whatever. I've never met anybody like him, and I've never loved anybody like him either, but I don't want a divorce. I still am very much in love with my husband.
My ex is living in her best friend's garage, the same best friend that helped convince her she could do better. Women do this all the time. My ex filed for divorce and halfway through decided she no longer wanted to divorce. After dropping $3,000 on a lawyer, I pushed on with it. My ex-wife kept kicking me out of the house and I gave up. I went to Mexico and got a younger wife, and my ex wanted me back and I said no more. I kept the younger lady. It's been 28 years later. I'm unhappy because he is happy without me, and I realize I was the reason for his unhappiness for 500 Tom.
I really don't think I would describe me personally as a shit parent, because I don't even know what a shit parent is. I would say I was more like a mentally unstable, controlling bitch back then. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment of how I was. Thank God my children are mentally stable and they are able to forgive me for so many things because they realize I'm not the same person that I was when they were growing up. Now, I'm no longer mentally unstable, nor am I controlling. The bitch part? Sometimes.
So, as she just admitted, she was a mentally unstable, controlling bitch. I don't know any man who would want to partake in such a lifestyle like that with a woman. All of those traits just bring stress to a man's life. And because of that, her children probably went through hell. Now that we got an idea of how she was back then, let's look at her crying while explaining herself next.
After 4.5 long years, it is finally over. It's over. I am now a divorced woman. And I knew when this happened and when I got the final word, I knew I would have different emotions, and I tried preparing for them. But I don't know how you actually prepare for it, because what I feel like is like someone punched me in my stomach, in my gut, and just like took my air out of my body. Oh. And I'm not crying over the fact that we're no longer together. I'm crying over the fact that none of it should have happened like it happened. And there's this sadness inside of me that, like, it's going to somehow affect our grandchildren and generations to come. And I just hate that, I hate that. And God, I wish I hated him. Oh my gosh, I wish I hated that man. But I don't hate him. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay, but I'm not going to lie. I'm scared. I'm scared. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. I'm going to leave my home that I've been in for 20 years and rebuild a life that wasn't supposed to be alone. It was supposed to be with him. But don't get confused. Do not get confused. My life is good and I am blessed. But it's still hard. Rebuilding your life at 51 years old. Trying to find a place to live. Probably relocating to a new city or a new state. It's a lot. But I'm going to do this. You just watch and see. I'm going to be better than ever. I've got this.
She has so many worries, which is fine. But why didn't she think about all of that before initiating the divorce? You probably feel sorry for this woman, but I'm gonna tell you not to, as you will see why in the next clip.
Okay, if we are going to be completely honest, we knew. We knew pretty early on who they really were. They showed us. And I know this for a fact because people can't hide their true colors for a long time. I mean, I have to be completely honest with myself, which I don't enjoy doing, because then I have to see all my faults and all of the things that I did that led up to the end of my marriage, the breakup of relationships, and that's the hard part. But I'm going to do the hard part because I'm not going to continue this pattern. I've had this pattern my whole entire life, and I refuse to continue. So from now on, instead of talking so much about what happened or what was done, as I like to say, maybe to me, which makes me sound like a victim, and I'm not, I am going to focus on my role in things and what was broken inside of me that allowed the things to happen. I knew not to get married. Pretty long time ago, knew not to do this, but I did it anyway. Why? Fear? Yeah. What were my fears? Afraid of being alone. I was a single mom with 5 children. And here came this man that I thought was going to rescue me and save me. And he did, actually. He did. But the problem was, by allowing that to happen, I put my whole being into this man. And I was no longer myself anymore. So I have been spending the last few years trying to figure out who the hell I am. Why I do the things that I do. It's not fun. But gosh, when I see all of the good stuff that is coming from this, it is so worth it. So worth it. I'm much happier. Still have bad days. But my life is really, really good. And I'm single. And I'm alone, which was my fear. I didn't want to be alone. I hate really saying the word alone because I'm not. I have a great group of friends and family and my children. But as a woman without a partner, I'm alone. And I swore that would never happen to me. That was like the ultimate thing that, oh my gosh, if that happens, I have failed. I haven't failed. I'm fine. And so are you.
This man took this woman in with 5 kids, and in return all he got was a big fat divorce to his face. This should honestly serve as a warning to you guys. Stop dating women with children. Stop trying to save them. Another thing is, this woman is 50 years old and still finding herself. Someone who's finding themselves is not ready for marriage or a relationship.
Fair, like, why the f do I have to go through this? And he's just fine. Like, that's not being fair. He gets to go about his life, have his home, have his cars, have his financial stability, and I'm over here, he's struggling.
Watching my ex thrive, it's a beautiful thing, but it's really triggering for me because I walked away with literally having to start over after 12 years of starting over, of wondering if I'm going to be able to keep a roof over my head with my boys and not being able to just go out and play in our backyard like we used to, and wondering if I'm going to be able to feed them.
The problem that I have with this is that when you decide to no longer be in a relationship with somebody, they do not owe you for their successes from the time that you stopped being with them on. Outside of what they owe you for potentially justified alimony and child support, you cannot get mad that that man is successful without you because you're not his future, so he does not owe you the future rewards.
She's basically saying, I wish my ex was doing bad like me, because I'm miserable. That's the playbook. She's playing victim. That man started thriving after 12 years. That man was held back for 12 years. My wife of 30 years cheated and left. I can say she is triggered by my new family and success. Drizzle, drizzle. This is what I call success is the ultimate revenge. And it's ironic, because while this woman is out here struggling, why does she even have custody of the kids in the first place? If she can't keep her life together, shouldn't the father, the more stable and reliable figure, assume responsibility? But of course, the system often overlooks that. But the truth is, this woman was the problem the entire time, yet she can't see it. She's too busy pointing fingers when she should be looking in the mirror. After all, she's the one who chose to walk away from the marriage, thinking she'd find something better. Now she's sitting in her own mess, jealous of her ex-husband's success. She wanted freedom or excitement, but instead, she's watching him thrive while she struggles to keep her head above water. It's funny how the tables turn. The only question left to ask her now is, how green is the grass over there?
You know, I spend a lot of time by myself, and I'm not usually lonely. I enjoy my own company. But today's been different. The last couple of days have been different. And I just have to shake this off. I have to get through this. And I will. I always do, but I let my guard down, and I knew better. Won't make that mistake again. Lesson learned.
This is just the consequences of her actions. She's basically telling you my life is miserable and I am feeling lonely. They always show their happy side on the internet, but deep down inside they're dying. She knew exactly what she was doing when she made her decision to leave. There is no one she should blame but herself. Take care of yourself, guys. Eat your food as your medicine, or you will eat your medicine as your food.
I walked away from a 12-year relationship with 2 kids. We had been together since I was 16 years old. You know, I had 2 children as a teenager. And I can honestly say that as young adults raising 2 children, we did pretty okay. But about 6 years into the relationship, I began to feel stuck. While he was sticking to and accomplishing all of the goals that he had set for himself, I I was feeling like my life was just becoming like a revolving door of mother and wife duties. And then the goals that I had for myself would come last. I would come up with all these plans on how we could, you know, relocate to California as a family. And he would entertain it, but he never spoke life into it. And when it all hit the fan, I walked away from everything. And you know what was the hardest? The judgment and criticism that I received, especially from people I thought would be in my corner. After leaving that relationship, an overflow of blessings and opportunities started to come my way. It has been an extremely long journey of healing. I didn't know who I was outside of being a mom and a wife. I am that too, but I'm also more than just that. Now I am getting to know LaBrittany.
The bottom line is, she got bored. And what makes this even more crazy is the fact that she left her kids behind. This right here shows you that a man will give up his happiness for his family, while a woman will give up her family for her happiness. The only thing this woman is healing from is from the damage that she caused. She may claim she's on a journey of self-discovery or growth, but at the end of the day, she's running from the consequences of abandoning the people who depended on her the most. It's rarely spoken about how much pain is left behind. Her children, her ex-partner, they're the ones left picking up the pieces, while she convinces herself that her choice was necessary. In reality, she's not healing from any deep trauma inflicted on her. She's merely trying to escape the guilt and the wreckage of her own decisions. And the sad part is, in the process, she's tearing apart the very foundation of what she once had, a family that men would fight to hold together, even at the cost of their own happiness.
I don't cook, I don't clean, but let me tell you how I got this ring.
You were nice until he married you, and then you showed your true colors.
Ouch! So you were married to your husband, but you were having children with other men.
I was with him for almost a decade, but I probably wasn't the best wife to him. So we got divorced in July of 2020, I believe.
You were married how many years?
We were married 6, together almost 10.
You guys had problems?
Yes, we both had our own sets of problems. Like I mentioned, he wasn't very kind. So he did lay hands on me, be very rude to me, make terrible comments, call me names, put me down. But then I was unfaithful a few times and ended up mothering children from those men on my husband.
So you were married to your husband, but you were having children with other men.
I was, and he raised them as his own and knew them to be his own until the divorce.
How did that news come out?
My lawyer had to use language in what we wanted to kind of make it a point to say that, like, he may not be the dad. You know, like, I don't even remember what word she used, but it was a word that kind of made his lawyer be like, we should probably do a DNA test on these children. And he did.
Because you were looking to keep it quiet?
I wouldn't say that.
To collect child support?
No. Oh, no. The divorce agreement said no child support on either side. We were both making the same amount of money. So to this day, neither of us pays child support. But no, he got them. I didn't want to necessarily keep it quiet. I didn't want to break his heart. He'd go work for my ex-husband. There was nothing done to prevent it. And the first man that I had the affair with is now my boyfriend, the father of my first child, my son. And he was my husband's assistant manager at the time.
This gets messy.
It's very, it's very messy. So my ex-husband brought him onto the team where he was working. And my ex-husband always made his assistant managers like his best friend. So he started bringing this guy around, and I made the first move, of course. And I feel like I just sensed his kindness. I mean, still to this day, this man that I'm with is the kindest, most patient man I've ever met. So I think I felt that kindness from him, which I wasn't getting from my husband at the time. So I don't even know how it started beyond me. But one day he came over my house without my ex-husband there, and you know what happened next. And we only saw each other once a week to do this because of how my schedule, my ex-husband's schedule, and his schedule matched up. So every Wednesday I saw him. We had sex. He watched me get ready for work, and then he'd go work for my ex-husband.
This is absolutely disgusting. Instead of communicating how she felt in her marriage, she took the lowest route possible, sleeping with her husband's assistant, who is now her boyfriend. And to make matters worse, she ended up getting pregnant. Where is the loyalty? What happened to the vows she made, the promises to stand by her husband through thick and thin? Marriage isn't just some temporary arrangement you walk away from when things get tough. Instead of having an honest conversation about her issues, she betrayed her husband in the most deceitful way possible. She didn't just break his trust, she shattered the foundation of the relationship. This woman is just purely evil.
How are we supposed to balance everything? I am drowning. I wake up in the morning, I pack my kids' lunches, I drive them to school, I have to rush back so I can make it to my first meeting. My boss tells me that I'm not engaged enough on Zoom, so I have to try harder there. I spend all day doing my job where I don't even leave my desk chair. My house is falling apart. I don't even have time to take my dogs outside during the day, and somehow I'm also supposed to be working out, cooking dinner at night, eating right, helping them with homework. I spend my lunch break picking them up from school, and I don't even get 5 minutes to myself during the day. Not even enough. Like, I'm not doing anything 100%. When is it just enough?
Ex-wife of 25 years, cheated and divorced me for Chad. She never had to work, and now she have to for the first time in her life. Recently saw her after 3 years. She looked exhausted. You're strong. You're independent. You're beautiful. You got this, queen. Enjoy. It's only now she realizing how much her husband did, and how much she depended on him. But she thought he was not contributing at home life. I get a sense that many women think men just show up to work, have a lot of fun, then walk home with a big fat paycheck every day. This is where you thought the grass is greener on the other side. You made the bed, now lay in it. Well, independent means doing it by yourself. And that's exactly what this woman wanted when she left her marriage. She made her choice to walk away, thinking she'd be better off on her own, but now she's out here complaining about how hard it is to manage her life. It's funny how some people don't realize what independence really means until they're stuck in the reality of doing everything on their own, financially, emotionally, and practically. She thought leaving would give her freedom, but now she's dealing with the harsh truth. Independence comes with responsibilities, not just the perks. The very life she was so eager to pursue is now weighing her down. She expected to be liberated, but instead, she's facing the everyday struggles of balancing work, kids, bills, and everything in between. And it's far from the dream she imagined.
I just want to say something. If you're a parent and you have a partner at home who loves you and your kids and helps take care of you in any way, mentally, emotionally, financially, physically, however it may be, they contribute to you and your family and your kids, just thank them. Just say thank you. Remind them how grateful you are. Remind them how amazing they are. Because I would give anything to have someone at home to love me and support me. I've been the working parent, I've been the part-time working parent, I've been the stay-at-home mom and wife, and now I'm the single mom working 2 jobs. And I miss my kids, but I have to pay my bills. So just tell your partner you're thankful. Even if you're mad at them today, tell them you're thankful. Do not take the things they do for you for granted.
This is one of those situations where you don't get appreciated until you're gone. It's like people take you for granted when you're constantly there, providing, supporting, and sacrificing. But the moment you step away, that's when they realize what they lost. I mean, what did this woman expect? You can't just walk away from a marriage and expect everything to magically work out in your favor. Being grateful in a marriage is crucial. Gratitude isn't just about saying thank you. It's about truly recognizing the value of what your partner brings to the table and not assuming they'll always be there, no matter how they're treated. When gratitude disappears, so does the connection. This woman probably got too comfortable, thinking her husband's dedication was something she didn't need to appreciate or nurture. But nonetheless, it seems like life has taught her that lesson, the lesson of not taking things for granted and to be grateful.